Hi, this is Joseph Tan here from goodmonday.com. Today is the fifth topic in our character-wise parenting seminar follow-up series, and we're going to talk about activities that matter. You know, in our society today, there is no shortage of activities that we can sign up for our children because there is this sense of rising competitiveness, and we're afraid that if we do not sign up our children for the latest and greatest, they may just lose out to their friends in school. But we neglect the consideration that in rushing our children from one activity to another activity, are they ready for it? You see, we might be focusing so much on skill that we have missed out on the development of character and attitude. And as far as success in life is concerned, the handicap in life is a bad attitude. You know, your child could be the best in every available skill, but if he has a rotten attitude, it's just going to rub the wrong way. So we must be careful with the activity trap here, parents. And one of the mindset that we need to have with regards to what our children do is that we need to reconsider again that there is more value in what the child does at home compared with what he or she does outside the home. Now, this may come as a surprise to some of you because we are just so busy fetching our children from one co-curricular activity to another that the home is treated more as a hotel, some place where you check in and check out rather than contribute. And I'm going to share with you three attitude or three principles that will help us to get out of this activity trap and focus more on attitude rather than just skills alone. Perspective number one in breaking free from this activity or enrichment trap is do not start them too young. According to author David Elkin in his book The Hurried Child, Growing Up Too Fast Too Soon, he states that children have feelings and emotions which possess their own timing and rhythm and cannot be hurried. And he stated cases whereby that the majority of children can learn to read with ease if they are not hurried into it. Those who start too young start very young may seem to have an initial advantage, but by the time most children are about 10 or 11 years old, most of them will be on par with the basic skills like reading, for example. In fact, the great thinker Edward de Bono grows up in a family where their early childhood consists of time of just roaming around and just being themselves as a child, and they don't learn to read until about 7 years old, when their capacity is ready to do it. So if we were to push them too young, you know, with all the gadgets and all the various enrichment activities out there, we have got to be careful, because although they may seem to have an early start initially, it does not equate to a successful finish. And we need to discern their readiness, you see. I mean, there was a parent in the parenting seminar, and he stated that he started on piano really young, and he did it just because the parent forces him to do it. But by the time he got all his paper qualification, and he attained quite a high level of qualification in his piano skills, he just dropped piano totally and took up guitar instead, because that was his real interest. So do not push your child too soon, too early in areas where he or she is not ready for, just because there is this fear of losing out. I mean, think of all the various Hollywood child stars who have started well, but do not have the right attitude and character to go with it, and they kind of finish off life on a very unfortunate note. Perspective number two is to look at chores as something which is valuable. Now, chores may seem as something very routine and something not very glamorous, but this is the exact purpose and benefit of doing chores, because doing regular chores at home inculcates the mind of being a contributor. Jim Collins in his book From Good to Great says that leaders must have two main traits. One is an intense will to be professional and to succeed, and the other one, you must have intense personal humility. Now, I find that for the growing child, there is nothing as practical as doing regular house chores to inculcate a sense of personal responsibility and humility. Come to think of it, success in life is about being able to do certain things routinely, even if you don't feel like doing it. And there's no better way to start off our children than in doing regular house chores. And furthermore, this instills a sense of ownership and gratefulness. Why is it that children simply throw their things all over the place and not do anything about it? Because somebody else will pick it up for them later on, and it is not they themselves. So if your child is too busy with outside activities and have got no time to do house chores, something is wrong somewhere, and you got to do something about it. The third perspective is one of developing character before skills. Now, developing character is the responsibility of the parents. And if we as parents do not take deliberate effort to train our children for character at home, and to discipline them, and to teach them how to deal with frustrations in life, and to teach them self-control and so on, what happens is somebody else ends up picking up the tab, you see. That's why teachers nowadays have got to spend much time dealing with misbehavior and attitude issues until they got not much energy left to teach. Why? Because we parents have not been taking our leadership role at home to teach character, and teachers are having to suffer for it. And teachers don't have time to teach. They got to deal with parenting issues in school, and end up that the students got to go for more tuition, and end up the parents have got to do more teaching than parenting. Isn't this a strange reversal of role? Teachers end up being more like parents, and parents end up being more like teachers. All because we parents have failed to take the leadership to develop character in our children. And we have this mentality of just outsourcing character development to somebody else. This will not work. And this concept of outsourcing, of sending them from one activity to another activity, or buying one toy to another toy, is actually a handicap for the child, because it develops a sense of self-entitlement, that things just come too easily for them. And this affluence or sense of easy to get becomes a handicap that you must help your child to overcome. Because if we do not create the right work ethics within our child, they will grow up expecting the world to revolve around them. So, the activity trap? Well, learn to realize that your child can benefit more by what he or she does at home. The chores that he do, the responsibility that he has at home. Make him a responsible member of your family first. Then he can be a responsible member of society. Think about it. This is Joseph Tan here from goodmonday.com.